We're back to 14F, AR 2016-91, QUAKE Brewing Company, LLC. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wish to be heard? Sorry about that. Please state your name and spell your last.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to you all. My name is Danielle Kemp. It is K-I-M-P. And I am here on behalf of my business, QUAKE Brewing Company. I would like to start off by saying a sincere thank you to every single assembly member here, as well as Mayor Berkowitz, and the men and women of the Planning and Zoning Office, and municipal staff, and in particular Mr. Francis McLaughlin, who really got engaged with this packet. I would like to start off saying that I do approve of the Assembly's memorandum as it is written. I will meet all the conditions placed on this permit and operate within all applicable laws and regulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to state that I am very proud of my years of service to our country as an Army officer, and I am sure that I will be just as proud of my service to this community as a responsible businessman and entrepreneur. I will be in the audience and available for anyone who may have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's a question. Mr. Trainee?
Sir, what percentage is going to come from food? And what percentage of your business will come from alcohol?
The alcohol will not exceed 50%.
So even 50-50?
At the most, sir.
How many tables do you have for seating people to eat food?
We have a seating capacity of 50.
50?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Trainee. Thank you, sir. No other questions?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Long night, right?
I'm telling
Welcome.
you. Good evening. My name is Laura Cantrell, C-A-N-T-R-E-L-L. My father is Wiley Brooks. He is the property owner of Fire Lake Plaza. He's owned it since 1994. We also own a property downtown between the Gaslight and the Pioneer Bar. So we're very familiar with running properties. Not only, those aren't our only properties, but we have quite a few other properties. So we're very familiar and entrenched in the real estate market here in Anchorage ever since, 77? I've been there since 85. So we're very familiar with what the ups and the downs are in maintaining a property that has some brew pub in it. So we're very versed in being able to handle what needs to be handled in order to maintain the property and be good citizens and be good, responsible neighbors. My concern, of course, is that we have residential neighbors next to us. And so when we structured this lease, it's a 38-page lease, we take these in consideration. We take in consideration the nuisances, the noise, the refuse, and health and safety. We consider our other tenants. Is it a good mixture? Is it good synergy? So there are a lot of factors when we do these things. But when Danielle presented his plan to me in September, I thought it was a wonderful plan, and I am encouraged by his willingness to be participant in the community. So I have been supportive of his project, and I have put him on a tight leash. A lot of times I've had to send out little emails to him reminding him things that I will need. But I would sincerely hope that the Assembly would approve his application. Any questions?
There are no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else? Not seeing anyone? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Starr.
Move to approve 2016-91 with the S version.
Second.
You know, I'll cut to it. I think there's oftentimes when we defer to those in the trenches, and I certainly have gotten in the trenches, literally the trenches of his development, because he's started construction appropriately, he's pulled his permits, it all looks good. Nobody likes storefront empty buildings, and we've got a big one here. It's about 8,000 square feet of empty retail mall. When I first saw the initial application, which was combined into the work that he referenced, the planning department came through, I felt that they missed some things. The couple qualifying statements, especially for some that haven't got it, is there's two elements to be able to vendor alcohol in this town. One of them is, of course, what the ABC board allows us to do, and then the second was the conditions applied on the actual location. And so the action item of the approval, if you will, for the liquor vendoring portion of it and his compliance with ABC regulations has already been done. This is the second half now. Name something different, and we'll all have to get used to the new name because it's called a special land use permit as opposed to what used to be called a conditional use. They're essentially one and the same. The criteria to be standards are met is pretty similar. What I feel from my experience is a little bit more of a proactive approach. That's why I put an S version in front of it. I'm not going to go through every one of those qualifying statements of it, but we missed, for example, the statement that Wiley Brooks talked about. There's some modifications that need to be done to the lease. That's part of my S version. There's a conversation where he would have to come back to the Public Safety Committee and expand on some of his safety proposals. That's been covered with Mr. Evans on the Public Safety Committee. So why I made changes to the initial application it was because I felt that those systems of control that we would have would make a better operation, given the stretch that he's got with a new operator. That Mr. Trainee, you asked me about the capacity. You asked the applicant about the capacity. We reviewed the architectural drawings, and it's significantly different in the footprint than what was submitted in our packet. Yeah, and we're getting really close here, but the applicant comes very well prepared. He's got all the answers to everything. So here's a new drawing, if you need to see it, where restaurant is much more the emphasis. This will be food. This will be some of the concerns that I had on order windows. He also would like to do an entertainment venue. An entertainment venue doesn't have to be boombox, heavy bass drums from a band. It can be a poetry slam. It can be a debate club. It can be somebody else doing something else up on the stage. So we're giving the benefit of the doubt with the limitations that he shut off the noise. So we worked hard tonight. I've worked hard on this topic, and certainly the applicant's going to work hard on it. So I'm asking to approve it. Let it go. There's conditions required. I have one technical amendment. I don't want to bore you with it, but I'm going to lay it out to you right now. Stay with me, folks, is that one of the compliance requirements, as he checked off his boxes, he's got 8 of them, was to bring the data back to the clerk's office. What I want to do is ease up on the clerks from the collection of the changes and send it back to the planning division. I want Francis McLaughlin, who knows this case, to be the collector of the data. When public safety says it's good to go, it's good to go. Ultimately, the clerk will send a letter to ABC, but so I've got an amendment, and I won't bore you with it, but on page 2, line 15, line 38, and line 2, it references the clerk's office as the collector of the data, paraphrased. I want to change all the wording where it says municipal clerk. I want to change it to planning division. I don't need to send them out.
Second.
They get it. And really, it's just a matter of authority. We don't need to burden the clerk with collection of information in this case. If the lease renew meets compliance with the planning division, good to go. Same with the summary comments that would come out of the other aspects that he's got to deal with. So I don't want to lay bureaucratic stuff in front of this guy. He's struggling hard to make it happen. Amy and I are there watching it. He's not going to be a bad operator on my watch. So that's my pledge to you. I urge approval.
He's going to extend the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Starr. There's nobody else in the queue. Let's vote on the motion to amend. Thank you.
Here's a copy for the clerk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Starr.
Okay, now let's vote on the main motion.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Zimboski?
I'll be very quick because I know we have like 4 minutes.
Right. As a matter of fact, Ms. Zimboski, before you continue, can I ask Mr. Trainee to make a motion to extend the meeting to 11:10?
We'll change your order today first. I want to take up items J, K, and M, and then I want to extend to deal with those 3 items only.
But can we finish this one?
J, K, and M. After you finish with
All
this
right,
one.
we're going to finish this first. That's why we're extending the meeting. Okay, Ms. Zimboski.
We need a second, then we go to.
Yeah, I'll second to extend the meeting to 11:10.
Any objection? Great. Okay, Ms. Zimboski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just want to be on the record, and Laura, I know you're looking. So I want you to know, I am very concerned. This body sat through the rustic goat. And if you can remember that conversation, I am telling you, I was supportive of it, but I know the parking issue that came. And I know my Eagle River neighbors. So when Bill says he's going to keep an eagle eye, we're going to keep an eagle eye. Because not only did you get a beer and wine license permit, now you're getting a brew pub. And I don't want to see bars sneaking in under a brew pub license. That's something that I'm concerned about. This is the first one we're seeing. And, if this is going to be a trend, if you want a real liquor license, you should go buy a real liquor license. So, like I said, I'm very skeptical. I'm always supportive of business, but I don't want to be getting complaints from neighbors that we have a band going at 11:15. You guys are very close to a residential neighborhood, so I wish you the very best. But just know, I'm cautiously going, and if Bill hadn't done all the work he had done, I wouldn't be voting for this tonight. So, and I'm pro business. But Bill's done a lot to ease some of the concerns that potentially could be coming down the pike. So I really appreciate his work on this, and I really appreciate you guys working with him to make sure that we can come together and address everybody's concerns. So good luck to you, and I look forward to coming in and having a burger.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bosky. Mr. Abbott, you were in the queue?
Only to request an extension to address the other items.
We took care of it. Okay, let's vote on the main motion. That was approved 10-1.
Now we extended for J, K, and M.
Right. Item number 14J, 2016-99, a resolution appropriating $441,987 for the
Wait,
transportation